Hello everyone and welcome to this new video on the channel. So today we have got the first of the EFL predictions on the channel. So we're going to start off with League 2. So let's get into it. So as per usual with these tables, we're going to predict it from bottom to top. So we'll get the table on the screen here. So the two columns to the side, we're going to worry about that at the end of the season because that's going to be where the team actually finished and then the points difference. So at the end of the season, the aim is to get the least amount of points possible, and you do that by predicting as close to where you predicted that team to finish in their actual position. So, say for example, I predict a team to finish in 24th and they did finish in 24th, I'd get 0 points because it is a spot on score. But if I predicted a team to finish 24th and they finished in 20th, I'll get 4 points because 24 minus 20 is 4, which is the difference in places. So that's how we're going to score it at the end of the season. Also, if you made some predictions, let me know yours in the comments below. And like I say, it's just my opinion on this. I'd say out of the EFL leagues, this is probably the least one that I'm confident with. My team, Doncaster Rovers, were in League 2 last year, but won the league, so we're now in League 1. So if my team was still in League 2, I'd definitely pay more attention to it. But, you know, out of the three leagues, it probably is the one I've got the least knowledge on. But anyway, we're going to have a go at predicting them. Like I say, if I predict your team somewhere you don't like them, then, well, tough. Ultimately, it's my prediction. Don't take it too seriously. It's just a bit of fun. But just let me know yours in the comments. So anyway, enough rambling from me. Let's get into my predictions, starting with the relegation zone. So let's start with the two teams in the relegation zone then. So one I was pretty convinced with, and then the other between quite a few teams, and it was hard to pick one. So ultimately, I've got to pick someone. So in 24th, I've gone for Accrington Stanley. And in 23rd, I have gone for Harrogate Town. Accrington, always, tough. I predicted them to go down last year. I just think we've been in a bit of decline since John Coleman left the club. Obviously, Verona was a bit controversial as well. And things just seem to be going a bit downhill for Accrington, if I've been honest with you. I thought they did really well to stay up last season. However, I think it's going to be tougher. Like I say, always got strong teams coming up from National League, and if you're not strengthening down at the bottom of League 2, you are at risk of going down. And to fair Accrington, there are a lot of outgoings and not many ingoings, to be honest with you. And like I say, a lot of things going downhill, like their academy closing and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's just not looking good for Accrington. I've got to pick someone bottom, and unfortunately, that is Accrington. And someone else has got to join them, and unfortunately, I do think it is going to be Harrogate Town. Like I said, I pick them to stay up most years, but just compared to the other teams, I just think they're not going to have enough. I think Cornelius losing him to Ross County is a big blow as well. And, we brought a few decent ones in. We brought Bobby Faulkner in, who, from my team at Doncaster Rovers, I think he'll have a good season there. And a few others as well, but ultimately, I just don't think they'll have enough. Like I say, I really want to pick them to survive, but I just ultimately don't think they're going to. So next up then, let's move on to the teams I think are just going to avoid the relegation zone. So let's go from 22nd up to 19th then. So 22nd, I've gone for Newport County. 21st, I've gone Cheltenham Town. 20th, I've gone for Barrow, and 19th, I've got Tranmere Rovers. To be fair, with Newport, I had them originally in my draft in the bottom two with Accrington. However, I've kind of changed my mind. I do think they've done all right in the transfer market, to be fair. They are a club that has been on decline for the last few seasons, though, and they're just finished above the relegation zone last season in 22nd place once again. I think we're going to level out. I think we are going to just avoid relegation. I think it's going to be closer. Like I say, Carlisle and Morecambe were a bit adrift last season. I think it is going to be closer this season, but I do think Newport are going to survive, but only just. Another team that's on a bit of a decline is Cheltenham Town, the second season back in League 2 after getting relegated from League 1. I do think we're going to drop down a few places, to be fair, and just be above the relegation zone. Seem to be, like I say, transfer listing a lot of players like George Miller, the top striker, we're looking to sell, and a few other people. And I just looking, around League 2. I just don't see him finishing high, to be fair. I think, in that mid-table, there's a lot of teams who are going to be in a similar position, and I think Cheltenham are going to be a bit adrift of that, so I've got them finishing in 21st. And once again, another team on the decline. I've got a bit of a theme here with teams, moving down continuously through the years. I've got Barrow finishing in 20th. I just think the squad's a lot weaker than it was last year. Robbie Gotts, who was a superb player in midfield, he has gone to us Doncaster Rovers. Dom Telford going to Gateshead as well. Probably didn't do as well as many thought he'd do at Barrow, but, still got to replace, that player up front. And, a few others. We've brought some players in, to be fair, as well, but I just, like I say, a bit like Cheltenham, I just don't see him finishing higher. I think, especially since Pete Wiles left, have kind of gone from a team potentially chasing playoffs to a team, mid-table team last season, and now I think we're going to be just hovering above the relegation zone. And we've got Tranmere Rovers in 19th place, so we're flirting relegation quite a bit last season. I don't think there will be as much. I think they'll be a lot more comfortable, but I still don't think they'll improve that much, to be honest with you. I just don't see where the improvement's coming from, to be fair. We've got a lot of players going out. We've brought quite a few in, to be fair, as well, but other than that, I just did well when Atkins left in spells. They managed to secure survival, which was the main thing ultimately. But I can see him improving on last season, but not by much. Let's add 3 other bottom half teams to the table then. So let's go from 18th to 16th. And a few might be surprised with these 3, but in 18th I've gone for Walsall, 17th I've got Shrewsbury Town, and in 16th I've got Crewe Alexandra. This might be a surprise for a few people. We're Walsall in 18th, but momentum is a very big thing, and I think we're going to really struggle, especially after the way the end of the season and then losing the playoff final as well last season. I like the addition of Aidan Flint, to be fair. I think he's going to be a good solid centre-half for, in League 2. But loss of Taylor Allen, to be fair to Wickham, is going to be a big blow, in my opinion. But yeah, like I say, momentum is a big thing. Been that, much clear at the top of the table, and then, dropping out of automatic promotion into 4th and then losing the playoff final. There's going to be a big hangover from that. It can work in 2 ways, to be fair. It can really spur the players on and they can, go on to do really well, or it can have the opposite effect. I've just got a feeling it's going to have the opposite effect on Walsall. Shrewsbury in 17th as well. A few might be surprised with how low I have put them, but momentum, as I've been saying through this video, is a big thing in football. They've been kind of on the cusp of getting relegated for quite a few seasons in League 1, and they did finally drop down. And I think it's going to be a bit like my team, Donny. When we dropped down, we finished in 18th. We made some good signings, as Shrewsbury have done, the likes of Anthony Scully from Portsmouth, Tom Anderson from ourselves, Doncaster, and Sam Clukes from Lincoln. I really like all of them signings, but I just think it's going to take a bit of time to get used to at this level. And I can see him having not the best of seasons, in all honesty. As for Crewe, I think it's more, other teams around them strengthening, to be fair. Like I said, 13th place finish last season. I don't think we're too dissimilar from that, to be fair. I think we will drop a few places. I just don't see them really strengthening that much, to be fair. Brought a few people in and a few people have gone out, but other than that, I just think, teams around them will be a bit stronger, and I think Crewe will drop a few places. And next up, completing the bottom half, in 15th, I've got Bromley. 14th, I have gone for Crawley Town, and in 13th place, I've got the National League playoff winners, Oldham Athletic. With Bromley, I have got them dropping out of the top half. I think a big part of this will be keeping Michael Cheek and keep him firing the goals. As long as he's getting the goals, they'll do pretty well. And we're a pretty solid team at the back, to be fair. We lost 1-0 to them both times. We had about 30 odd shots, but we just defended absolutely everything. But yeah, I just, like I say, a bit of second season syndrome, maybe. I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think we'll be, easily in mid-table, but I do think they'll just drop a couple of places. It's always hard to tell how teams will do when they come down, and I think that's the case with Crawley, to be fair, finishing 21st in League 1 last season. We've got Scott Lindsay back, which is going to be big for him, because he did really well with them last time we were in League 2 and got promoted to League 1 via the playoffs. But I think it's going to be a tough season for Crawley. Like I say, it's always hard with teams, I find, when you come down from League 1 to go straight back up, and I think Crawley will find it a bit tough. And they'll be around mid-table. And then we've got Oldham Athletic in 13th place, completing the bottom half. I think Oldham will be absolutely fine. Like I say, teams who come from National League always tend to do well in League 2 and don't go down. But yeah, I think Oldham will be comfortably mid-table, to be fair. We're a big club, even for, especially for National League, but even for League 2, in my opinion. Got a decent squad, and I think they'll be absolutely fine in this division. Okay, now moving into the top half, then we're getting close to the playoff places. So let's go from 12th to 10th. And so in 12th, I've got another National League team coming up, which is Barnet. 11th, I've gone for Fleetwood Town, and in 10th, I have got Colchester United. Barnet will be absolutely fine in this division. I even think they could finish a bit higher than this, but I originally had them higher, but I have moved them down a few places looking at other teams. But yeah, I think it'll be a good, strong season for Barnet. I think they'll start off well. They might fall off a bit towards the end, but nevertheless, it'll be a good first season back in the EFL for Barnet. The team I've got moving up a few places is Fleetwood into 11th this season. I think they've done some pretty good business in the transfer window, to be fair. Denver Hume from Grimsby, best League 2 left back last season. I'm surprised he's gone to Fleetwood, to be fair. I thought he could have even gone to a League 1 team. I would have liked McDonagh personally. Ched Evans back for his third spell at Fleetwood, and James Norwood as well is going to be a solid striker for Fleetwood. So yeah, I don't think they'll be quite pushing for playoffs, but I think they'll have, these additions will be very good for the squad, and I think they'll definitely move up a few places. And then Colchester United in 10th place. I really like Cowley brothers, and it's been, really good to see what we can do with the first full season under the belt at Colchester. The took a squad who just finished outside the relegation zone when they came in partway through, had a full pre-season with him, and they took them to finishing in the playoff spots. We've got a decent squad as well, Colchester. Obviously, like Lyle Taylor and plenty of others. We've got talent in there for League 2, and I think they'll be just outside the playoffs again. I think it's going to be strong between the teams competing to get them playoff places, but I think they'll be around there for most of the season, but a bit like last year, I think they'll just drop short. And now we're going to go to the two teams who I think are just going to miss out on the playoffs. So sorry if this is any of your clubs, but here we go then. So in 9th place, I've got relegated from League 1 Cambridge United, and in 8th place, I have gone for Notts County. So like I said, Cambridge coming down from League 1. Another team like Shrewsbury have been kind of on the edge of the relegation zone for a few years, but finally just didn't have enough last season and finished in 23rd place in League 1. But, I think they'll be around the playoffs all year. We've got a decent squad, a good manager in Neil Harris as well. I just think they'll just fall short. Like I say, the playoffs are going to be strong this year, and I think Cambridge, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they did get in, but in my opinion, I think we're going to fall just outside. And this season, I've got Notts County just missing out on the playoffs, which might seem harsh, but I just, I just don't see them doing it. I think the teams 17s above them are going to be stronger. I think losing McGoldrick is going to be a huge loss as well. It's going to be interesting what this new gaffer can do. Like I say, Maynard getting sacked after the playoff defeat. We've had two good chances of going up Notts County, in my opinion, and they've not taken either of them. It's going to be hard this year. Like I say, the longer it takes, it's going to get harder each time to get promoted. I just don't see him getting in the playoffs, unfortunately. So now moving in to the playoffs then. So we're going to go from 7th to 5th, and we'll leave the top 4 for a bit later. So here we go then. In 7th place, I've gone for Grimsby Town. 6th place, I've got Swindon Town. And then in 5th place, I've gone for Salford City. Grimsby in the playoffs then. Maybe a bit of a surprise to some, but, I think we're going to have a solid season. I think David Artell's done a good job there, to be fair. He's taken from a team who looked like they could have gone down to just missing out on the playoffs last season. And we're unlucky to do so as well. But, I think they might do it this year. I know Denver Hume is going to be a big loss. I do like some of the transfer business, though. I think Artell is building somewhat good there. And, if they keep doing, took it close last year, but just didn't have enough. Unfortunately, though, Grimsby are one of them teams. If I predict them to do well, we always have a bad season. If I predict them to have a bad season, we always have a good season. So if you have a bad one, I'm sorry, Grimsby fans. I'll hold my hands up to that. It's the curse of me again. But, I do think you'll have a good season. I'm going to back you for a top 7 finish. And another team who might be a surprise to some is Swindon that I'm backing. And for good reason, to be fair. They looked absolutely doomed at the start of last season. Then Ian Holloway came in and did a fantastic job. To be fair, and we even got themselves a top half finish, which sounded completely out of the question just a few months before that. But I think we're going to carry that momentum on, and they're going to get themselves a playoff spot. They're going to be really pushing for it. I do feel like I say, that momentum is going to be behind him. I'm interested in the signing of Jake Tabor as well. He was a high scorer in non-league football last season. Swindon have grabbed him from Amersham Town. If I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. But he's going to be one to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. In 5th place, I've gone for Salford City. Like I say, Carl Robinson has got another season under his belt as Salford manager. And of course, now, they are owned by David Beckham and Gary Neville. I think, we're going to put a lot into it this year. I think, they just missed out on playoffs last year. I think they're going to improve the squad, and I think they will get in this year. No matter what you think of Salford, I do think they are going to be pushing up there this year. So I've got Salford finishing in 5th. And we're now down to the final 4 clubs, so someone has got to miss out on automatic promotion, but they're certainly going to have a better season than they had last season. And the team I've got in 4th is Gillingham. I spoke a lot about downwards momentum on this predictions video. However, Gillingham is the opposite of that, and I feel like definitely towards the end of the season, they were definitely going in an upwards direction in terms of momentum, and that's because Gareth Ainsworth has come in and really turned the ship around at the end of the season. He's actually unbeaten with Gillingham from when he came in last year. He finished the season really, really strong with them. And I think we're going to continue that momentum into this season. We've got a decent squad. For a team who really have underachieved in the last couple of seasons, in my opinion, we should have been up there quite a few times, but we've just never managed it. I think it'll be a better year for them this year. I think they will definitely be up there. I just think they'll fall short of the top 3, but nevertheless, I think they'll be guaranteed a playoff place. So we're now moving into the automatic promotion spots. So we've got our 3 teams now. So the question is, what order are they going to finish in? So we'll do 2nd and 3rd first off, and then we'll announce the champions. So here we go then. So in 3rd place, I've gone for Bristol Rovers, and in 2nd place, I've got Chesterfield. I know I've said it, I think it is hard for the majority of teams who come down to League 2 to go straight back up. There's usually one who does pretty well, like Port Vale went straight back up last season. I think that's going to be Bristol Rovers this season. They are always very good at going back up once they've gone down. We did it in National League, and we did it last time they were in League 2. In dramatic fashion with that 7-0 win against Scunthorpe on the final day of the season. But I do think Bristol Rovers will go straight back up. I think we've got a decent squad, to be fair. I mean, the end of last season terribly. I talk about momentum, but I do, I think they might have a slow start off with, but I do think they'll really start to pick it up, and I do think they'll get one of the automatic promotion spots. So I thought it'd be close between the top 2 teams, but I have got Chesterfield just coming in 2nd. I like Paul Cook as manager. I think he's building something really good at Chesterfield as well, and we're a team that's going from strength to strength. Did really well at the end of the season to sneak into a playoff spot, and did lose to Walsall in the end pretty comfortably, but did well to get there. And I think they have a team that's going to, keep going on the up. I like quite a bit of the business that we've done so far, to be fair. And I just think that, Paul Cook's going to keep the ball rolling. I fancy him to do well last year. I think I predicted him 2nd again. I'm going to predict him 2nd again this year. I think we're going to do it. And I think they're going to be playing League 1 football the season after. And finally, my League 2 champions for 25-26 season, I think, is going to be MK Dons. It's hard to pick someone else, to be fair. I just think, for one, they've got a very good manager in Paul Warne, especially after he's had a full pre-season, and chance to have a full season with this squad. I think he's going to do very well. Rovers played him in pre-season. We beat him pretty comfortably 3-1, to be fair, but they only had half the squad. And I thought we played well as well, to be fair. Some of the incomings are ridiculous. Aaron Collins, I don't know how I've got him. Mendes Lang as well, that's a crazy one. And just the other day, Callum Patterson from Sheffield Wednesday, who was a ridiculous player for League 2 standard. Yeah, I just think the squad's going to go from strength to strength. I think they'll, really, really push, towards 100 points, in my opinion. I think they'll have a really good season. I feel they'll just get stronger as the season goes on as well. Like I said, I trust in Paul Warne to do a really good job. So MK Dons are my 25-26 champions. So there we have it. That's my League 2 predictions for the 25-26 seasons. We've got a full table on the screen right now. So just to summarise it, we've got MK Dons as champions, and then Chesterfield and Bristol Rovers going up automatically, and then Gillingham, Salford City, Swindon Town and Grimsby Town in the playoffs, with Harrogate Town and Accrington Stanley getting relegated. So, like I say, let me know in the comments your predictions. Let me know who's going up, who's going down, if your team's in League 2, where you think they'll finish. And like I say, if I predict your team somewhere where you don't like them, tough. It's just my opinion, just a bit of fun, so don't take it too seriously. So yeah, anyway, that is the first of the EFL predictions done. So I'm going to leave the video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new on here, please subscribe to the channel on the road to 2,000, less than 70 subs to go now, and please like the video whether you're an old or new viewer. Let's aim for 50 likes on this video, and please remember to follow the social media and Gittings PT on pretty much everything. So League 1 predictions will be out next. They will probably be out on the Friday, so check that then to watch them. So until then, thanks for watching, take care, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.